If you want someone to sugarcoat everything, you want someone to be positive all the time, I'm not the person for you.
Honestly, I've not been this conflicted about any game in recent memory.
For Nintendo's sake, I hope they fix this game up before it launches.
Where the hell is the content? Where is the damn content?
Hey beautiful humans, it's RidersDX, and today we're going to talk about why Mario Strikers Battle League is completely going downhill. At least in terms of public opinion. I mean, sales is probably going to do just fine, but still. But yes, Mario Strikers Battle League, for those of you who don't know, is the third installment within the Mario Strikers series, a long-awaited successor after the Wii title, which, I mean, it was on the Nintendo Wii, so that was at least a decade ago, so it's kind of crazy to see it's been so long since that game came out. But yes, Mario Strikers Battle League, when it was first announced, don't get me wrong, people were so super duper excited. I think people were just really happy to see that Mario Strikers was back. But of course, as more information came out about this game, people had more and more concerns about it, to the point where a lot of people are not confident within its quality by the time it comes out, which is actually really soon because it comes out in June. And so what is it about this game's rollout that is making people really doubt its legitimacy in terms of a quality game from Nintendo? Well, I will say, like I said, the initial review was really great, but what really caused these concerns to arise was the release of this overview trailer on the Japanese YouTube page of Nintendo. It showed off a bunch of the game's mechanics and such, and it was a really solid showing overall. It showed off some new things that they added. It showed off some more of what we saw within the teaser trailer, but one thing was sorely missing from this overview trailer that got people to be really concerned: a severe lack of content. And so this is not something that was limited specifically to this overview trailer. This was a lingering thought within people's minds when the initial review trailer came out, because first of all, you have the character roster here. There's only 10 characters, which is definitely a downgrade from what we had before, and you also have big giants like Daisy missing here, which has been a really big outcry amongst Nintendo fans. There's also the missing sidekicks, so you can't play as Goombas or Koopas or Dry Bones or Shy Guys, you know, those really classic like enemy type characters that really had a nice place here in the Strikers games, you know, being the teammates of these main characters. But no, now all the teams are made up of just these pure main characters, so all your teams will be consisting of Mario, Luigi, Peach, Donkey Kong, Rosalina, etc. So this overview trailer, even though it was much longer than the teaser trailer, did not show that much more content beyond what was reviewed in the teaser trailer, and that made people nervous because people were thinking, is this actually all the game is going to offer once it comes out at its full retail price of $60 US? But what makes people really convinced that this is what we're gonna get as a final product once this game comes out is you just have to look at Mario's previous outings to see that this is something that Nintendo has been doing for the past few years. Both Mario Tennis Aces and Mario Golf Super Rush came out with pretty minor amounts of content, but down the road, what Nintendo did is that they would release these free updates, which would basically add in more content into the game. The problem with these free updates that fans have come to really dislike about them is that they don't seem like genuine additions to the game's overall content library. They seem more like parts of the final game that are being blocked off by Nintendo because they want to increase the duration of interest in this game, because Nintendo seems to be concerned that if you put out all the content at once with the game's launch, then people won't stay interested in the game and they won't come back for it for future updates and such, and to elongate the game's life and thus increase more profits for the game itself. This may seem like a logical move on Nintendo's part, but this is definitely something that people are becoming a lot more aware of, and it seems to be leaving a pretty nasty taste within fans' mouths. I don't think I've said a single good thing about Mario Strikers Battle League since its review. Hard for me to do when it feels like it's going backwards in almost every aspect. I'm sick of Nintendo releasing unfinished games, then like 2 months later they release a free update including shit that they should have had at launch. Why do I gotta wait months for a game I bought for shit to be finished? Also, where the fuck is Daisy and Mario Strikers? I want to be wrong, but I got a sneaking suspicion that the new Mario Strikers game is gonna be like tennis and golf. Just the base game, which will be fun for 30 minutes, and then we get bored and leave because all the other fun stuff will be drip fed free DLC over months. Nintendo Switch Sports is the latest example of with this, as the game only contains 6 games within its base product, but there's already been an announced 7th sport coming in a free update later this year, and let's just say people don't have the most positive opinions when it comes to Nintendo Switch Sports, especially compared to its predecessors. So what can we take away from all this? I totally understand why Nintendo is doing this. In an age where people's attention spans are so much shorter than before, it can be really challenging to keep people interested in a video game after its release. I mean, just look at Smash Bros. For instance. That game has so much darn DLC attached to it. They went absolutely overboard that game in a way that I never thought I'd see a company go in terms of DLC. But to release half-baked games with the plan to release more of its content down the road to elongate interest, I really think it's starting to backfire here on Nintendo. No one wants to buy a full-price retail game only for a part of the game to be a part of the package, with the rest of it to come at a later date. It just continues to reduce the general interest in these games because people are no longer that excited about these games coming out, because they're like, oh well, the game's coming out but it's not even going to be the full experience yet, so why should I even bother with buying the game? And then as time passes, people realize that they're not actually that interested in playing the game, so they don't purchase it. I mean, this has happened to me with a bunch of Mario games at this point. I looked at Mario Golf Super Rush and I was like, oh, a Mario Golf game. It sounds interesting. But as I kept looking at it, I was like, it doesn't seem that exciting. It doesn't really seem like there's a lot that it offers beyond like what I've already seen. And so I've, as a result, have not picked up Mario Golf Super Rush because it just doesn't look enticing enough. And I'm really fearful that that's going to happen with Mario Strikers as well, because I'm someone that grew up with Mario Strikers. I remember like banging my head on the controller multiple times while playing the game on the Wii, and it was just such an irritating but fun experience at the same time. But I can't say that I'm that excited for this game at the moment because it just looks so half-baked and it doesn't really have a lot to it in terms of content, and I'm just not that excited for it because I know what Nintendo is doing now and it just isn't a great practice. DLC content, when it was first like created as an idea, was supposed to be something that was added on in addition to the base game. It was always supposed to be additional content for the players if they wanted to buy it and elongate the experience of the game. But now the way that Nintendo is doing it, this feels more like, here, pay $60 for this game right now, but only get like $30 of experience for now, and just wait down the line and then we'll give you these updates that are going to make the game even more worthwhile. I mean, as a consumer, it just doesn't really sit well with me to spend all this money on a game that I don't feel like is complete. I mean, of course, Mario Strikers Battle League is probably going to be a very solid game when it comes out. I mean, I have full faith in Next Level Games of making a solid, mechanically sound title in terms of Mario Strikers, but obviously this game does look like it didn't really have a lot of time to really plan everything out and have enough content to really sustain a fully priced game of this genre. And so it's just really disappointing, and I really hope Nintendo stops doing this because I want to buy like the actual full game when I get it. I mean, fine if you need to like include patches and such to fix certain bugs and such, and if you want to include some additional content later down the road that costs a little money, then I'm all for it. But to release these games that feel so much less complete compared to the titles that came out on the last generation, it just feels like a scam, honestly. To see what these games used to churn out in terms of content in the past and to see what they're doing now, it really doesn't sit well with me as a fan. So that's why I'm a little bit concerned about Mario Strikers Battle League. I think that the game, while it could be solid, if it engages in these practices, then I think it's only going to take even more of the brunt, because I feel like as we've progressively gone through these games have been getting increasingly more criticism for this, with Nintendo Switch Sports really getting a lot of bad criticism for this, because people are just getting tired of it, and they're going to get even more tired of it with Mario Strikers Battle League, because I can definitely see that this is going to happen in this game. Unfortunately, this is going to happen and we're just going to have to deal with it. But at the end of the day, Mario Strikers Battle League looks like it's going to be a solid game. I'm sure it'll be fun, but I'm not so sure if it's going to be a day one purchase for me right now. I'm going to have to see if they actually do update the game adequately and include like Daisy would be a nice start, you know, and the other characters that were in the previous games that are not being included here for whatever reason. I would love to see them appear too, you know, just include the content that was in your previous games. Like, don't downgrade from it. It's a new console generation. Your games are supposed to be able to handle more content. I mean, this is the logic that we're going with, right? This is the logic that makes sense. But alright, y'all, if y'all want to learn about why Mario Kart Tour has become a disgraceful mess, I'm really on the road with these titles, then check it out in this corner. Special shout out to Team Route Silent Gamer, Andrew Coughlin, Trash Q, and Claw84. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, and just I'll see y'all next time. This is Riders, riding out.